Welcome back to Relevant Tips. Thanks for joining us. Today I am excited because we have a very special guest, Mr. Bright Day, who is here to begin the year with us. My name is Martha and I'll be leading the discussion. We'll be dealing with personal development and self-improvement strategies. Here is a brief description or a brief profile of our special guest. We are privileged to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Before we go into details, what do we mean by personal growth?
Personal development to me is a change in status from one existing situation of an individual to a desired state that the person wants to attain. So, in my opinion, it is personal because it has to be championed and led by the individual, he or herself. And that is why it is called personal development, so that you are helping yourself to move from one level to the next higher level or the next desired level for your own satisfaction. That is what I think personal development is about.
Great. So, how do you set your personal development goal?
In my personal experience, I have learned a concept called the GROW model. So I use the GROW model, GROW. The G stands for your goal, the R stands for your reality, the O stands for the opportunities available to you, and then the W stands for how you wrap up those opportunities in line with your goal and the reality you have. So if we have an opportunity here, I'll take it one by one. The goal is where you actually want to be. In other jurisdictions, we can call it a target or a kind of a desired end that you want to get to. The reality is where you want to assess yourself and say, this is where I am. Now, per my reality, is it possible for me to attain this goal that I'm giving to myself? And the reality will tell you whether it is possible or not. Then, what opportunities do you have? Now, to talk about opportunities, I would like to talk about something interesting. You may be lucky, and to be lucky here simply means that you are prepared and an opportunity has presented itself. So where opportunity meets preparation, I describe it as being lucky. Then you can now begin to actually sift between what is possible for you to do and what is not possible for you to do. And that is the wrap-up stage. So in order to be able to set your personal goals, when you understand the GROW model and you take your reality into consideration, you'll be able to set realistic, achievable goals. The goals should be stretching enough, but it should also be achievable. It should stretch you to an extent where you have to leave your comfort zone in order to make it happen. And that is where you actually will feel that you have achieved something. So in setting your personal goals, that is what you need to consider.
So, how do you handle setbacks or challenges in your self-improvement journey?
That's a good one. So on the journey of self-improvement, you need to understand that setbacks are a part of life. If you accept setbacks as an integral part of life, when you are faced with any form of setback or challenge, you will be able to recover or revive yourself within the shortest possible time in order to keep yourself going. You need self-motivation. First of all, let me say that planning is important. And if we were doing professional planning, we would say that in the planning matrix, you have a column for the risk factors. So in your personal development plan, you need to take note of the risk factors. You might have taken all the necessary steps, but there is something we call asking the effective questions. The effective questions are the WH questions, and I'll work with only one of them at this point. That is the what if. So what if things don't go the way I expected? Meaning that from the stage of planning or setting your goal, you already have in mind what you think may go wrong. And when such things go wrong, then it will come to you as a shock. Even though you will be taking steps to prevent or avoid those kind of situations. But the greatest way to come back from setbacks or challenges is to have self-motivation. You need to motivate yourself. And to motivate yourself, it's a whole concept that maybe if we have another opportunity we can go into. But I'll try to give a brief of it. Self-motivation begins with appreciating the challenge. And we talked about self-reflection. So it is part of appreciating the challenge. You are faced with a challenge, and so instead of sitting down and crying over it, what can you see as a positive thing from that challenge? So it requires you to look at the glass or the bottle as half full rather than looking at it as half empty. So you have a bottle that has just some amount of water in it. Instead of asking yourself what I can do with this water, you are crying over the top half that you need to get it full. Meanwhile, you can start with the little you have and then get it to the level that you want it to be. So when you accept setbacks or challenges, then it motivates you to be able to overcome them. Now, another thing is to have mentors. So there are times that, depending on the form of challenge or setback you have, you need to approach people who can mentor you and put you on the right path. So when you make yourself a mentee, you'll be able to learn strategies that can help you overcome setbacks. Then I'll add a third one where you need to continuously learn. So continuously learning means that in every situation, there is something new to learn. What did you learn in that situation that you think has caused the failure or has caused the setback? And when you identify what you've learned, then that new thing you have learned now becomes the power for you to spring yourself to the next stage. So see failure as a stepping stone rather than failure as a doom to yourself.
But have you ever
Mhm.
sought for guidance or mentorship on your self-improvement journey?
Yes, a lot. And I'll talk about this in two forms. So there were those that I was very intentional about. So the intended ones and the unintended ones. So I sought for mentorship intentionally, and I'll use the example of when I completed my fellowship in the US with the Mandela Washington Fellowship. There was an opportunity for us to apply for mentorship, and so I did. I did because I wanted to learn more from those who are in leadership positions and those who know all the principles of leadership. But I would also talk about the unintentional ones, which I learned from my experience with other people. For example, I worked in the Volta Regional Education Directorate for close to 15 years. All the directors that I have worked with, about 7 of them, I made myself a mentee under them. This one, I didn't go to ask that mentor me, but because I know this person has experience, this person is older than me, this person has been in the job for a long time, I decided to get closer. And I can share with you that some of those directors shared things beyond the professional work environment. They shared things that were about their personal lives that also had helped me in whatever I am doing. So I think that for situations that you call for mentorship, some of them should be intentional, and then you should also be ready to learn even through the unintentional approaches. Where, for I gave the example of the workplace, it could be at the church, it could be in groups that you were. For me, I love choir and music groups, and so I learn a lot from all the people in the group, and it could be in other social networks, so that you can learn a lot from other people. Sometimes you are doing it indirectly, and then there are times that when you don't understand something, feel free to ask, and then once the person is willing to share or to explain to you, you are indirectly learning and getting mentored.
Great, great. Thank you. So, how do you balance personal development goals with family life, work, I mean, with all aspects of your life?
So I said earlier on that we need to sectorize what we are referring to as the self-improvement and the personal development. When you sectorize it, you will realize that your family life, your social life, your how do you call it, professional life, and all other aspects of your life are part of the self-improvement and the personal development. So, in this context, I think we should not see personal development as a standalone thing on its own. We should see personal development or self-improvement as the whole set, or the main set, out of which we have family life, social life, religious life, professional life, and all of that. Now, each and every aspect of your life comes together to give you what you are referring to as the personal development or the self-improvement. So you need to be able to examine each of these aspects individually or separately. You may be doing well in certain aspects and not doing so well in other aspects. So that if it is about giving too much attention to your, let's say, professional life, like some of us did some time ago, we go to work and we don't even want to close. And everybody is praising you that you are working hard. Oh, he's a very hard worker. That is good. But is that in any way causing another challenge in other aspects of your life, which forms part of the person? So it means that you may be, you may not be creating the balance. So you are doing well at professional life, but you may not be doing well at family life. You may not be doing well at social life. You may not be doing well at, let's say, religious life, and so on and so forth. So you need to be able to examine how your personal life in terms of various aspects is going, and that way you'll be able to create the balance. Otherwise, you will stick to one side, and then you will be doing that and thinking that is what you need, until you go and hit a rock somewhere and you realize that coming back is even very difficult. There are people who don't engage in any social activity. Maybe they are just focused on work. There are people who don't want to network. But there is a time when you will need people in your circle or in the network that will come to give you some assistance. So that is how I see the need for the balance between the aspects of personal development or self-improvement.
Wow. Hey, what a wonderful, wonderful time. But then, do you have anything for us, for the general public, something to live with us to take through the year?
Thank you so much. I think this has been a very exciting and interesting opportunity, and I would only want to encourage all young people out there to keep hope alive, uh, keep believing in yourself. I said it earlier as part of this interview that whatever you admire in someone means that you actually have that potential in you. So whoever you are admiring as your role model, or you want to be like that person, start working towards it. You will get there in no time. Thank you.
Mr. J has been a friend for over 2 decades. In fact, we have been in the brass band together. He's a fantastic um, trumpeter. And we've had a nice time together. And he loves to play the organ. Yeah. So it's wonderful having him to share all these experiences with us. Thank you for being with us, joining us on this wonderful show. Thank you for watching. Please, let's do this again. Follow us for more. Thank you.